this week's episode, we talk about concerts, and PRFer Shamrock Slavan calls in.
Just the way I feel, I don't know why. Well, I learned from my mistakes, this time I will escape. I'm too young to die. It's just the way I feel, I don't know why. Well, I learned from my mistakes, this time I will escape. I'm too young to die.
And now, broadcasting from the Vicious Pig Saloon in downtown Mattersville, this is your one-stop shop for everything punk rock, food, and, well, that's pretty much it. Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts for Punk Rock Foodies Radio, Skate Rat Betty, Steve Guerrero, Brian Reinhardt, and here's the asshole in charge, Xander T.
And that was Agent Orange with Too Young to Die. You are listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio on punkrockradio.net, coming at you live from the Vicious Pig Saloon
Live.
in downtown Nashville. We ain't dead.
Not yet.
Must be live.
Very much alive.
And I am Xander T, the asshole in charge over at Punk Rock Foodies, and with me, as always, is...
Brian Reinhardt. Yeah, that's me.
I thought you were going to cut off Skate Rat, dude.
I decided to take the initiative.
First chance you get, you do it.
That's all right. I never remember what turn I'm supposed to go. I end up third or fourth because I just sit there until somebody points at it.
You'd think we'd work this out ahead of time, but we are not professionals.
No.
This is like the easiest thing to fucking organize. It should be me, you, and you, but we never do.
And half the time we have worked it out beforehand, and it still comes out like this.
So shit. That's my cue. I'm Steve Guerrero.
Perfect. All right, so we are the radio show for Punk Rock Foodies Facebook group. Come check us out, 4,000 members, and posting some pretty awesome shit and blocking some really awful shit. That,
there's a lot. Have you gotten any hate mail recently? Any bad messages from people that have been booted or telling you you're an asshole?
I had that one girl call me an asshole and tell me to suck a fat dick through a thin straw that I don't know who the hell she was.
That's right, but we still haven't figured out what you did?
No, I don't know why.
She just hated
your
face?
It's just lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
You got to figure that she's been told that a million times. That just came off the cuff too easy.
She's been waiting for that. It's like the Louis C.K. bit where suck a bag of dicks. Like, you know, you've just been waiting to use that, dude. Just waiting to use it. She had it in the chamber.
Punk? It always reminds me of the kids in the hall. What's up your craw, punk? And the guy keeps trying to start a fight, and everybody's like, I don't know what you're saying.
My name is Doug. I'm out of here. Oh, that was the state.
All right, well, you know, Punk Rock Foodies is pretty much all about the food but loving punk rock, and so today we decided to focus a little more on the punk rock, and we're going to start with some punk rock music. Steve, you want to send us out here?
Absolutely. How about a live track from my favorite band, Pennywise? Here's Perfect People.
Good album,
Punk Rock
good
Radio
song.
Studio. Something or other.
He
cut me off.
I know.
Put a blinker on.
Hey, if you want more listeners, we should just call it Pumpkin Spice Radio. Let's get real here.
All right, we got a couple more songs for you.
Brian, why don't you bring us in?
Jim, why don't you start and let Brian cut you off? That'd be fun.
Oh, it's always fucking something. Anyway, what do you remember though? Really, we're from Chicago. We're not from here, Indiana. I was going to go there at a fucking bat. This song's called Transistor Radio.
Transistor Radio by the Methadones, a band from Chicago, one of my favorite bands, off of an album called Not Economically Viable. Good album. So this week we're going to kind of forgo the food topics. We've been doing with them. That's pretty much what we do, and we've been accused in the past of focusing too much on food and not much on punk rock. And for those who accuse us of that, fuck off. But anyway, so this week we're pretty much going to talk about music and shows that we've been to. We're all, I don't know, are we middle-aged?
Oh! Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Are we middle-aged?
Whoa!
We're seasoned.
What qualifies as middle-aged?
I think we're more like a third age.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
We're not
I'm
halfway there yet.
I'm 37. I think middle age is like 48.
Yeah.
You know, none of us are even close to that, right? Are any of us?
My great-grandmother's 103, so her middle age was, 50,
Okay.
56 and a half. So,
Well, then we're going to use her as our measuring stick.
Do
we
I
got
get a
20
Corvette?
years.
Because if I get a Corvette, you can call me whatever the fuck you want. If I get a Corvette and a 20-year-old girlfriend, we can talk business. But
you get a 24-year-old girlfriend, we are talking about.
Yeah, we're going to make a whole episode about that.
right now, I'd settle for the back of a 20-year-old. Shit.
So this week we're talking about music and shows, and I don't know. That's pretty much all I know. We're just shooting from the cuff. So, what do you think, Xander? You pick it up from here because I'm running out of words.
I'll send you a dictionary.
Yeah,
You're right. Like, we are punk rock foodies, and we do discuss food, but we also are punk rock, so we're going to focus a little more on the punk rock. Fat Records had their 25th anniversary. We were talking about it, and Steve suggested, hey, let's talk about some concerts we've been to. We've all gone to shows.
Did anyone go to that? Did anyone, any of you guys or anyone from our group go to the...
We're actually going to interview Shamrock.
Yeah.
She was in San Francisco for the
That's
3
right.
days. She went to everything. So we're going to be interviewing her later about that.
It would have been nice to know about that ahead of time.
Well, you know what? Follow the feed that we
I saw
chat
it.
we have.
I guess I should do that.
Like you're too busy to punk rock foodie on the weekend, Brian. Come on.
I'm going to need you to text me specifically.
It's on the bulletin board right there at the Vicious Pig when you walk in the door, Brian.
That's
Yep,
true.
It's on the event calendar.
You always look at the beer specials and never the bulletin board.
Shots all around, everybody.
If we did a shot for every time we fucked up somewhere, we wouldn't even make it through a show.
Yeah.
Drunk after the first
So is
segment.
there a Punk Rock Foodies radio drinking game then?
There should be.
There will be now.
Every time one of them goes, edit this out, and he doesn't edit it out and we hear it, drink.
We are so professional.
Oh, yeah.
So, speaking of shows, yes, I'm sure we all have great stories. I have one that I'm going to save for later because it needs to be saved for later. What was the first concert you ever went to?
Not even punk rock, just concert.
Just first concert. And first concert you went to on your own, not your parents dragged you to see, Smokey Robinson or something like that. You went.
Guns N' Roses with Skid Row opening.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was at the Forum. That was a long time ago, but I remember Skid Row blew them out of the water. I couldn't believe it. They sounded so heavy live. It was crazy.
From what I understand, it sounded like Guns N' Roses never even played shows. They would never show up, or they'd be late, or they'd be fucking around. There were riots because they just never could pull a show
Hour
out.
late.
Yeah, he was. Axl Rose was 45 minutes late for the show, so it took forever between bands. It sucked.
I've seen video. I've never actually seen a GNR show, but I have seen some videos of him. He does not look like he was a sober man.
Yeah. What about you guys? What are your favorite first shows?
Well, Xander said to disregard the shows that parents dragged us to, and that was pretty much all I had until I was 17. I think I was 17 years old when the big Offspring album came out. The not Ignition, Smash, not Ignition, it's Smash. I think I was 17. And I went to that, and I went with my friends to go see the Offspring. It was when they got huge, and then there was a little band from Southern California that opened for them called the Vandals. And it was also the Lunatics also opened it for them. They were awesome because all their songs were about dildos.
Lunatics, yeah.
But they were awesome, and I was in love with the lead singer. But anyway, the Vandals opened for them, and the Offspring were fine. But I just remember being enamored by this little band that came out and they were taking off all their clothes, and they spent 10 minutes in between songs just swearing at people. And I went and bought a shirt with a machine gun on it, and the singer came by and was like, "Hey man, nice shirt." And he seemed to be about my age, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." And that was it. Like, officially, it was an Offspring thing, but the Vandals, for me and my career, it's a lifestyle, I call it, of punk rock, it's the Vandals. The Vandals kicked it all off, and the live experience of seeing them play in Milwaukee, of all places. I mean, I'm from Chicago, but I drove to Milwaukee to see it. And that started everything. It was amazing.
That was actually, The Offspring was my first concert, too. I do not remember...
I'm sure a lot of people could say that.
Yeah, I don't remember who opened for them, but yeah, it was about 95, because I think I was like 14 or 15. And yeah, we went down to Fort Lauderdale. There was a place called, I think it was like the Jungle Club, that would let anybody underage in. I remember going there and drinking and partying quite a bit underage. Someone else did who looked just like me is what I meant. But... it was super fun, and I remember I'm really short. Like I'm not much taller than I was in high school, but I'm 5'4" now. I was probably 5 feet at that age, and a bunch of us kept standing on. It was a bar, and we kept standing on the pool tables that they had covered for the event, and they kept telling us to get down. Well, I guess the managers got tired of trying to corral like a concert in a tiny bar, and they came out and had called the police. They waited till the police came out, and then they just came out and started pulling the plugs on all the amps. And I guess the Offspring had seen, at the back of the room, the cops coming in the door, because this place was like sold out, line out the door, and fucking Jesus. Yeah, they started playing, I forget what it was, some anti-cop song, and they played until all you heard was like tinka 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 tinka. And it was terrible.
I bet you it was LAPD. That song goes off.
Yeah,
it's a great song.
They seriously, it was like their third song. When the cops showed up, it took that long for the owners to call the police. What the fuck?
I saw the Offspring right when Smash came out too, but they were actually opening for Pennywise at the Shrine. And that was a killer show. And there was another band on that bill called the Cadillac Tramps, and I'm going to play a song from them later, but they're one of the bands I've seen over and over again, and they're a great band. But Offspring tears the place apart, man. They're a fun band to see live. And
it's fun. Now I kind of regret walking out on the Offspring last summer. The Vandals opened, then it was Pennywise and Bad Religion and the Offspring, and I just stayed for the first three, and before the Offspring even hit the stage, I was out the door. But the funny thing was, I saw people entering
just to see.
So they missed the Vandals and Pennywise and Bad Religion.
Oh, bad call.
Whoa, yeah.
That was just last summer. But my first concert was Bon Jovi.
You sure you want to say that publicly?
No. And it wasn't even like Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet. It was
We'll edit this out in pre and post.
But I had gone with taking my girlfriend, and it was like the first. I was like 18, 17.
Hey man, it's your life. You can do whatever you want, man.
And you're the one there.
Lay her down on a bed of roses, man. It's fine.
But like my first like punk show, I actually probably was like Warped Tour, but there was a club in Pittsburgh called Club Laga, and strangely enough, it was in a building above the Attic, a bar called the Attic, which was like on the second floor. And I saw Mr. T Experience and the Queers at this club like 4 times. It's like they toured together constantly back then, and then I even saw them in another place in Pittsburgh. And it was always them, and then there was these other like opening acts. So I've seen for opening for them before the Smugglers, Less Than Jake, Frenzel Rom, Blink 182.
Frenzel Rom, I would have loved to see them.
Yeah, a small little club.
Wow.
Groovy Ghoulies.
Oh, I love the Groovy Ghoulies, dude. I wish I'd seen them when they were still together. I love the Groovy Ghoulies.
Well, and then with the Groovy Ghoulies, the drummer was also the drummer for the Queers, Hugh. And he's since died. But
rest in peace.
Yeah.
Moment of silence. There you go.
But yeah, and it was such a great little club. The only thing that I hated was they're like, it's an all ages, but they have the bar was like fenced in, like with a chain link fence. and you had to show your ID at this like fence gate to go into the bar, and it was, I don't know, it just was no fun. Like standing in this little
Corral.
drinking area, but it's a little small club, and it just it was a pain in the ass. But of course, I was going there before I was 21. And when I finally did turn 21, I was like, oh, this could be great. I can go drink. It's like, no, you can't leave this fenced-in area. It's like, fuck.
Dude, that is the worst. That happened to me. I saw Propaganda a year ago in Chicago, and it was an all-ages show. It was an early show. I'm not used to shows starting at 6 o'clock. I'm really not.
I wish more shows would do that.
I hate it, but I was, it's an all-ages show, so I'm obviously drinking because I'm 89 years old, and I had to stay in this little, area. It was like a petting zoo where, the kids could come by and touch us, oh, you have a beer.
Like at the adults.
And I don't know what was worse, doing it in this little club or whenever at Warped Tour, and they actually have it, roped off. And you're outside, and it really is more like a petting zoo. You're standing.
They did that at Warped Tour out there?
When it was the first Warped Tour, first or second one.
96 was the first one I went to.
Those were the best.
I went to 2000, I think, 99, somewhere around there, 2001, somewhere in there.
96 was the first one I went to, and I was too young to drink. So I don't know, but I just, they roped you off at Warped Tour. That sucks. Yeah, the beer's like $20.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, and I don't know if it was because it was at the Icy Light Amphitheater. An Icy Light is a Pittsburgh beer, Iron City Light, and or what. But now that I think about it, if I was 21, so it must have been 98 that year. And I had one beer, and I was like, this is stupid. I'm not going to stand in this.
I will say though that Warped Tour was where I met the nicest people. I had broken bones at shows and stuff, minor injuries and shit. But Warped Tour was the one show where I went to, and it was a big show. So for somebody with social anxiety and shit to go to a big event show like that was a big deal for me. And I went to that, and I was there all day, and I was shit faced. I was white girl wasted to the nth degree. And there were a couple of times I remember in the pit where couldn't quite stay upright, and that was the first time I'd ever been in pits where people helped you up, and
that's the best. That's the best feeling too. It's we're all here getting aggressive, but it's
we're having a good time.
Pick them up.
If you're not having a good time, I'm not having a good time. Let's all have a good time. I've been to pits where somebody from 20 feet away has been eyeballing me, and then all of a sudden they come up and shove me like a man. You waited half an hour to come and hit me, is what you did, and just made it look like you're in the pit. That's not cool. I don't like that.
No.
You shouldn't treat me any differently because I'm a girl in the pit, whether it's more aggressive or less. I don't feel
I always feel like there's always pit justice.
Yeah.
In those cases too. I was at a Lagwagon show, and this guy was being a real asshole. And he's pushing and pushing and pushing, and finally I just look back, and I just reached and I clocked him in the side of the head. And as soon as I punched him in the side of the head, he kind of turned and looked at me, and then the pit just swallowed him up and he's gone.
Yeah.
It was
never to be seen again.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Pit justice.
He probably died. You're probably wanted for murder. You should lay low for a while.
Yeah. Hey, how about this? The second last Warped Tour I went to, I remember we were drinking beers in a little pavilion area, and I had a bunch of weed on me, but we didn't have anything to smoke out of. And we find this other group of people, and they had the paraphernalia, right? So we end up smoking with them, having a good time, drinking beers, and that's that, right? So a year later, I go back to the Warped Tour, and same scenario. I have weed, I'm kind of in a pavilion, and I run into the same people again, and we're yeah, and we're hanging out. We're dude, it's so great to see you. Dude, you know who that person was? Our own Colin Murray from Punk Rock Foodies.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's how I first met that cat, dude.
Cheers, Colin.
Yeah, Dick Vinegar, yeah.
That is too funny.
So we joke about that, but man, the Warped Tour has to be good, at least 6 or 7 years or so. It's just, ugh.
Wait a minute. Side note: is Colin Murray Vic Vinegar?
Yeah, that's what I.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm telling you, Brian, you gotta keep
No,
up.
dude,
man.
because all of a sudden Vic Vinegar stopped liking all my stuff. Now Colin Murray's liking all my stuff, and I don't like. Who is this?
Every once in a while I have to go
that
to his
makes-
page, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? Oh, yep, okay, yeah.
Man, I get confused, man, because we're punk rock foodies admins, and we're so famous. You know, we can't keep up with all
He
these people.
expected to know everyone's name.
Yeah.
The story behind that is he punched somebody in the pit and killed him, so he had to change his name for a little while until the charges got dropped.
Did you say we're fameless?
Well, it depends. It depends. I've got a million friends, and like 3 of them know we do a radio show, and I tell them all the time.
Jesus. I have people coming out of the woodwork that are like, so I hear you do this radio show. I'm like, oh, really? Do you listen to it? No. I'm like, oh, okay, then don't ask me about it. If you're so interested in me being on it, why don't you listen to it?
Oh, we're on YouTube now. Anyway, moving along.
All right, why don't we go to a song, come back, and we'll talk a little bit more about Warped Tour and some of the bands we've seen on festivals and shit like that. Any cool stories we have, like Steve's awesome weed story. That's cool. That's the same dude. Skate Rat, why don't you send us off here with something?
Let's go with The Offspring. Why not? It'll be a long time.
All this time is whittled away. So many things anyway. Back and forth, the wheels swing. Back and up we go. Superpowers, black sail wings. Oh, the world of pop sings. We rose with feet. What's it is has been. So is the way it goes. Live on the world and see dreams. I'll be feeling a feeling time.
Okay, that last song was a band called Ryan's Hope from around my area. A song called Haven't Got the Time. They're good friends of mine. They're super rad. They're kind of a punk metal band. So we were talking about Riot Fests and festivals before we went to that last song break. And believe me, I spent a lot of summers when I was younger going to Warped Tour. And I feel like I've outgrown it. I don't know. I remember I went in '96 and it was amazing, but I got to a certain age and I remember a friend of mine, Bill, who is also a member of Punk Rock Foodies, we looked around one day, this is about a few years back, we looked around, we're like, there's a lot of young boobs around here. We shouldn't be here. And those were the words he used. There's a lot of young boobs around here. We need to not do this next year. And it was fun. There's a lot of bands, but we're like, okay, once you realize you're the old guys, and when you're in punk rock, that's going to happen eventually. It just is. So I've kind of moved along to Riot Fest, and even that's becoming a little bit of a shit show now.
You just got to take Tristan and never take off your sunglasses.
See, I'm trying to get him into. There's a punk rock band for kids called the Boogers. I'm going to try and get him into that.
Oh, what a cool idea!
Yeah, they write punk songs for kids. So if anyone out there who's got kids, look for the Boogers.
Well, didn't Matt Skiba and was it Mark Hoppus put together a kids album? Like they did punk versions of kids songs.
Did they? I don't know.
I thought they did. I know there's like a nighttime punk CD, so it's like Bad Religion, but like played on like a xylophone with like soft horns and shit. But it's
Dude,
Bad Religion. It's like
so
a Bad Religion
weird.
song.
I have one of those CDs,
awesome.
but I think it's Metallica, and it's so weird.
It is.
Really?
Nuts.
I have never heard of this. This is new to me.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into that. But like you're out in Chicago, like you go to Riot Fest in Chicago. Because I think Warped Tour's just turned to shit. Like the bands on the Warped Tour.
It has. I haven't been to Warped Tour I haven't been to Warped Tour in quite a while. Riot Fest is big around here, and here's the thing. I've got a little story. I was at myself and my friend Jeremy Shipley, who I seem to mention on every episode, who is a member of Punk Rock Foodies. Yeah, we should. Jesus Christ. We went to what I believe was the first Riot Fest in Chicago. This was in 2006 or 7, I think it was. I've still got the flyer. It's a little 5-inch photocopied piece of shit. And we went to this, and it was back then, Riot Fest was one day. It was like an all-day, 10-hour thing. It was kind of like Warped Tour, but not as big. It was in one venue. It was in one big indoor area. And it was bands like The Germs, Bouncing Souls, Pennywise was there. And a lot of old school bands like the Effigies and Channel, I forget the name of the band, Channel 6, I think they're called. The old school band, I'm not quite that old. The Misfits were there. But it was weird, the Germs were there, so like Pat Smear was there. Like he, like, the guy from
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters, yeah, jeez. I shouldn't be drinking so much. And I tell you, I won't lie when I say there were maybe 100 kids there. Maybe 100 kids. Jeremy and I were looking at each other like, oh, Riot Fest, this sounded really good, but there's nobody here. This will never happen again. Like, this is obviously they won't have it next year. This was a total flop. There's nobody here. It was in this huge amphitheater, and there was nobody there. And now it's this huge thing.
It's like a 3-day event.
That's the same one in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
It came out when I was out there in the summer.
It's fucking huge. We got our tickets for like $20 back then, and we saw a bunch of bands, and it was so new that they couldn't figure out the beer situation, so they couldn't get beer for a while. And it was just, and there was nobody there, and now it is absolutely huge. It's not quite Lollapalooza, but it's enormous. 3 days, just a total shit show. Lots of good bands. They had the Replacements. Motorhead's going to be there this year. I saw Danzig fall off the stage 2 years ago at Riot Fest. It was awesome. Well, not off the stage, but he fell down mid-verse. It was sweet.
Speaking of Lollapalooza, I got a Lollapalooza story. So I think it was like I guess there was another Lollapalooza after this one, but they only had like a few like decent ones, and then it kind of went to shit. And this was the year Nirvana was supposed to be on it, but then Cobain blew his brains out.
What a selfish jerk.
I know. Ruined my Lollapalooza. But it was Smashing Pumpkins were like the headliner. and Beastie Boys actually went on before Smashing Pumpkins and blew it away. And then when the Pumpkins came out, everybody was kind of like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
We just saw Beastie Boys. We're good.
Dude, the Beastie Boys live were an amazing show to catch. I saw them
And
like
Smashing
3
Pumpkins
times.
is good and popular, but I wouldn't want to go after the Beastie Boys.
No.
They were unbelievable. And you know what? And the one thing I do remember about it was that sucked was because, like, the Beastie Boys went on, and then they were done. And then they had to go ahead and set up for Smashing Pumpkins. Whereas at Warped Tour, they were doing, like, Rancid's performing, while Rancid's performing on this side of the stage. This side of the stage, Anti-Flag is setting up. As soon as Rancid's done, Anti-Flag starts.
Yeah.
Rancid breaks down, then NoFX starts to set up on this side. So when Anti-Flag's done, it was like... It was seamless as opposed to Lollapalooza where it was constant like waiting in between the bands. But we're out before the concert. We're in the parking lot. And we found a couple of people to hang out with, and we're all underage and we're drinking, smoking, and we had this great idea to take this water balloon slingshot and fire water balloons into the parking lot. It's this huge like field of people, and somebody had to piss. So we pissed in a water bottle and took the balloon, put it over the top of the plastic water bottle.
And filled it with pee.
Squeezed the button to fill it with piss, right? So we got this piss balloon, and we're just going to fire it randomly into the fucking crowd.
Hashtag piss balloon.
So they're holding the slingshot, and I pull back on the damn thing, and as I pull back, the fucking balloon bursts.
Oh!
Straight piss all over me.
Yeah!
That is karma. Karma, motherfucker.
Not so fast.
Son of a bitch.
That's
And then like
terrible.
there's these old dudes hanging out with us, and they're like, instantly we're like, you're a narc, and
Oh my
and they
God.
were talking about like we're trying to figure out if they're narcs or not, so we're like asking them questions, and one of my friends is like, yeah, so do you like you like any of the bands here? And so, oh yeah, I like them. He goes, oh yeah, what do you think of Beck? And the guy's like, oh yeah, I love Jeff Beck. Like, like, yeah, you're a narc.
I'm trying to think of like one of the questions, like, have you ever played the arcade game Narc? Oh, you have? Then you're a narc.
I was going to say, like, a Lollapalooza, because you do have such a, like, I remember Cypress Hill was there, and Hole played, and, and you got the Smashing Pumpkins.
And they were on The Simpsons.
And, yeah, it was a Simpsons episode.
It was a Simpsons episode.
What are your thoughts on, like, these festivals where they have bands that are, like, spanning different genres, and, like...
Riot Fest is becoming that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm seeing, like, there's shows, like, where NoFX is playing, and they're, like, opening for...
Wu-Tang. Or,
Or Dead Cat for
Something like
Cutie.
that.
Yeah. That's weird. I think they should separate, like, one day is punk rock day, second day is, hipster rock, and then the third day is whatever. But, yeah. Those are, I get why they do it, so people stay interested during the whole thing, but, man, I'd rather just go to, like, one fest where it's one genre and just go.
Yeah, I always thought, Warped Tour always did a good job of mixing in a little hip-hop, which I think punk rock and hip-hop can go well together if it's the right band.
Yeah.
But, like 2 years ago when I went to Riot Fest in Chicago, and it was awesome because I went and saw them and it was fun, but, like, the Violent Femmes were there, and it was great, it was fun, but I remember being like, at Riot Fest? Really? And then, like, the next year, like, The Cure was there, and
So they have, like, a Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, it's like, I
portion
don't know
of the
what you're
weekend.
doing. There's a lot. It's becoming kind of like this grotesque thing, but I think that's what happens when it gets big. I think it's getting huge. I mean, Riot Fest is getting huge. My
I'm
friends out
still
here,
a
we
big
start planning
fan of
6
the
months
dive
ahead of
bar.
time. Yeah, I like small shows.
For the most part, I do too, but I am licking my chops because in about 45 days from today, we got the It's Not Dead Festival happening in Southern California, and I am fucking all over that. Oh,
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
oh man.
That's
so
like
many.
the old days of Warped Tour.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, fuck, every band you want to see, they got side stages that have, like, the Adolescents on it. I mean, fucking Christ's sake, dude, really? That's a side stage? All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Riot Fest used to, and I got to see if they still do it. But they, like, as of a couple of years ago, they would have the big festival, and then they'd have secret shows around the city, where they'd be like, oh, they wouldn't say who's playing, but they'd be like, hey, at the basement of Subterranean or something, or at Cobra Lounge, someone's going to play, and then people would go, and then you don't know who's coming out. A couple of years ago, we went, and at like midnight, it was the Suicide Machines playing the entire album Destruction by Definition, and then there was another show going across the city, and it was Michael Graves and Marky Ramone playing Ramones songs.
Whoa!
You know, like out of nowhere, and which if you give a second to think about it, it was actually kind of cool. I had a couple friends that went to that, and they said it was fucking amazing. You know, but there's like these secret shows that they sprinkle around the city. I don't know if they still do that, but that's what was going on, and that was kind of rad.
They did that for the Fat Wreck tour. I know NoFX did a secret show, but they like announced it like that day. Like they already had it planned, but it was like that day they announced it on their website. Like that was the only way you could find out. And then I know, which we'll get the information from Shamrock here shortly. Yeah. But there was a secret show at the Parkside in San Francisco for the first night.
See, those are cool. I like when that stuff goes on.
But speaking of Shamrock, it is about time to talk to her. So, someone like to send us off here. We'll get that set up, and we'll find out what happened at Fat Wreck for 25 years in San Francisco.
I got one more track for you guys. This is a band out of Orange County, an old school band. They haven't put out a record in a lot of years, but they're reuniting and doing a tour right now. Johnny Two Bags Wickersham, who's a guitarist for Social Distortion, this was one of his first bands, and this is the Cadillac Tramps with a song called Cadillac Hearse, which is a great song because every time I would go see him at a small club back in the day, there'd be like 7 plush Cadillac Hearse parked out front, which is like the fucking Tramps are here, dude. It was pretty badass touch. So fucking enjoy some Cadillac Tramps. This is Punk Rock Foodie Radio on punkrockradio.net.
The beers over here.
Why look out the window? It's always black outside. The bottle runs low like a lifelong friend. I met last night. You know I had a chat with the devil, and he pulled me into his embrace. Said, "Sir, drinking from the wrong side of the cup. You give me just a little taste." Had a little girl died, don't shut her face, and the little girl ran away.
right, and we are back on Punk Rock Foodies Radio, punkrockradio.net. Here with us on the phone now is one of the Punk Rock Foodies, one of our admins of Punk Rock Foodies. This is Shamrock Slavan, and she was at the Fat Wreck for 25 years shows at the Parkside San Francisco, California, and we are interested in how that entire event went. Start us off, day one, was that Friday? There was a showing of NoFX's Backstage Passport, and tell us about the day.
The little blip that they showed from Backstage Passport was when they went to Peru and mainly Fat Mike's drug use.
Nice.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then there was a special guest, and it was the Dickies, which was cool and not cool all at once. And we ended up leaving. Because it was hot. It was hot inside the Parkside. The Parkside is not meant for a bunch of people.
Really?
No, it's very small, and circulation is bad.
Okay, well then that would explain the two stages, the outdoor and indoor stage for the Saturday and Sunday events. How was that?
That was great. The outside stage was fantastic because it was right in the shade, and even though San Francisco is often cool, it was awfully warm on those 2 days. The outside, like I said, the outside stage was really great. The inside stage was difficult to get to. I actually didn't end up seeing any of the inside stage shows during Saturday and Sunday just because it was difficult to get to. So everything that I loved about the festival, I also hated because as much as it was very punk, it was very difficult.
Yeah. I was interested in just the fact that like some of the bands they had playing inside and the times that they were going on and, you know, up against bands that were playing outside, and there were so many. I was looking at the schedule and I was conflicted. I was like, well, would I want to go inside and miss them or stay outside and miss him, or, you know, but I guess in your case you missed everybody inside, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, and there was some of that. There was a little, like, I wanted to go inside for some stuff, but I wanted to see the outdoor stuff, so it was a decision-making time, as with any festival that has multiple stages, is what do you do? Who do you want to go see more?
Right.
But the decision was made for me, because it was too difficult to get inside. Wanted to see Chris Cresswell, never got to do it. It was just too hard to get inside at that time. And then Strung Out was also playing at the same time, and so Strung Out won, which was amazing. They were amazing.
Yeah.
Swinging Utters were great. Bracket was really awesome. Western Addiction was really great. Missed Toy Guitar, Standing in Line. That was a bummer.
Yeah, that is.
And that was a bummer. It was all that was all day one. On day two, day one, back to day one. Thick of It All, killed it. So they played an amazing set.
That's what I heard. I had seen a lot of posts from people that were there that just said that Sick of It All stole the show, basically.
Oh yeah, they stole the show. I mean, the pit was amazing. It was just, you know, my friend walked out with a bloody lip. It was fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you should have a good pit. You should bleed, right?
Right.
Day two, You Cunt. Couldn't miss it. Was great. Once again, missed all the inside shows.
You got to see You Cunt.
You got to see You Cunt, yep.
Good, because they're great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we made it in time for that one. We stood outside the first couple songs, but that's okay. Masked Intruder was great. The Flatliners, of course, were awesome. Dead to Me, Tilt. So I really wanted to see Tilt because that goes back to when I was in high school.
Yeah, that's old school.
Oh, yeah. So Cinder was awesome. Good Riddance was great. No Use in Friends was, there was people crying.
Yeah, tell me about that. Like, that was, I saw a few videos of like El Jefe singing International U Day, and just like, how did that all work?
So they would play, and you would have different guest singers come up, and every experience was amazing. So either it was whoever was singing near tears, or people in the audience in tears. Tony Sly's wife was there, and the girls. That was really cool to see the girls up there.
That's awesome.
You know, getting to honor their dad, and so I mean that just brought on more tears. And then after No Use for Friends, with Lagwagon and NoFX.
Oh.
Not gonna lie, we skipped out at the beginning of Lagwagon and left to make it over to Oakland for a secret show.
And this secret show in Oakland
Was Dead to Me. And so during the festival, Dead to Me played as a 5-piece. Jack was there. And then Jack had to go back to LA, so it was just a 4-piece when they played in Oakland. The Oakland venue was upstairs. It was a very small room, and it was packed, so there was probably maybe about 100 people in there, and the whole floor felt like it was going to fall out.
Jeez.
Because just everybody just slamming around and singing along and getting crazy, and it was amazing.
So it was worth missing Lagwagon and a second NoFX show.
Absolutely. In my opinion, yes.
Okay. Even though you had to be in Oakland.
Yeah, even though I had to drive across the bridge, it was probably about a 35-40-minute drive across the bridge. So that means I had to stay sober all day Sunday.
Oh.
And then I was sober driver back into San Francisco after the show.
That's a bummer.
And it was worth it. It was, for me, it was worth it. For the other 6 people in my car that were drunk, it was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
7. I think I fit 7 in my car. It was a tight fit.
Yeah. So was
No, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. It was a great 2 days. It kind of was like that wonderful feeling you get the first time you go to punk rock bowling.
yeah.
And you get to run into people that you only see maybe once or twice a year.
Right, just like how Steve just told us the story about meeting Colin Murray at Warped Tour 2 times.
Yeah. For me, it was great because I saw a lot of kids because I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, I got to see a lot of punks that I grew up with.
Yeah.
So it was like a homecoming.
That's cool.
For me.
A homecoming with some rad shows, some rad bands playing.
Absolutely. It was like being 17 all over again.
Was there anything like stand out or was like special or different or interesting because it was their 25th anniversary, or was it basically just your basic punk shows?
No, I mean, it was really cool just because, the standout thing for me was on the little card that you get with the lineup and the big show poster, Fat Records was spelled wrong.
Nice. What? Was it spelled correctly? But
it was spelled correctly.
Gotcha. Awesome.
But it actually says Fat Records, spelled correctly, 25th anniversary.
Nice.
That shit is getting framed and put up in my house.
Oh yeah, that's like whenever they translate, something into a different language and then retranslate it back to English, and it's like not quite right, like movie titles and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was great, and it took us a while to realize too. And we're looking at it, and I'm like, that looks weird. Oh, never mind. Now I get it. Because day 1, the posters were on sale for $25. Day 2, they went down to $10.
Oh man.
In a minute, yeah, it was great. I was like, yeah, definitely need one of those now.
That's hilarious. They'll probably have them on their webpage for $1 soon.
Oh, yeah, I know, probably. Probably. It was really cool to get some Tilt merch, because they haven't had a Tilt shirt in forever, and it's probably the last pressing they'll ever do Tilt merch ever. Overall, it was a really great show. It was tons of fun. It sucks they ran out of water, but that's okay. Beer is a good replacement. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, and they had the Fat Wreck brews out there, so.
Oh yeah, did you try the Stick It In My IPA?
Yeah, I had the IPA. I also had the lager.
What's the lager?
Fat Wrecked.
Just okay. And they were good?
I liked the lager better than the IPA. That was tasty. They ran out of the lager, so the next day they did the Scrimshaw Pilsner. But no, the lager I had plenty. By plenty, I mean a lot.
Yeah, I got that. But only on Saturday because you couldn't on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
So I sent you out there, or I didn't send you out there. I sent out to you a bunch of merchandise. Were there a lot of people, a lot of punk rock foodies, or other people interested in what you had to offer, or do you have a whole bunch of merch?
Because on Saturday I wore a hat.
Yeah.
I wore the punk rock foodie hat, so I got a lot of questions of what is that and how do I get that.
Nice.
And so they got gifts for asking me how do I get that. And so we did that, and then having a conversation with someone, and I'm going to totally embarrass her on this one. Having a conversation with somebody when she realized I had a punk rock foodie hat on, Nicole, and her husband Jason, and they realized who I was. They were very intoxicated. And then Nicole, oh, that's Shannon. Oh, that's Shannon from Fresno. You want to make out? So Nicole got some stuff for being so adorable in her want to make out questions. So that was day one, and then Steven found me at the Dead to Me secret show.
Oh, nice.
So he got some stuff too. And some towels were thrown up on stage, and hopefully they found a new home with some band members.
That would be cool. That'd be awesome.
There's a few people that were looking for me, but I think everybody was just so intoxicated they couldn't find me. That's what I'm saying, because the area was not very big. It was maybe a half a block area for the stage and everything.
So they should have found you. They just weren't looking hard enough.
They weren't looking hard enough. Either that or I was moving around way too fast, which I find hard to believe.
All right, well, it sounds like you had an awesome time, and I really was so jealous seeing your pictures on Facebook and knowing that you were there and seeing other people's pictures because I really wanted to go. But just wasn't in the cards for me this summer. Next time they have a 25th anniversary, though, I'm there. Totally.
For 50th anniversary, are you totally going to be there?
Oh, no, their next 25th one. That's it.
Their next 25th, they're just going to turn 25 forever?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I can't wait until they turn 50. It should be really rad then.
There's going to be a lot of walkers on that stage.
There were actually quite a few. I saw a very older lady that I aspire to be someday. She was totally having a good time, too.
Good. Nothing wrong with that.
There were some canes in the crowd and everything else.
All right, well, thank you very much for letting us in on the good time that we all missed, well, most of us missed. But we are going to go off now with a song from Tilt. We'll go with Libel on Punk Rock Foodies Radio, punkrockradio.net.
Hear that?
like to thank Steve, Brian, Skate Rat. Like to thank Shamrock for calling in and giving us a rundown of Fat Wreck for 25 in San Francisco. Thanks to the people here at the Vicious Pig Saloon. Thanks to the boys down under at punkrockradio.net. Don't forget to check out Burning Road Studios for all your video and graphic needs. And check out Betty Gear. And of course, when you're on the Facebook, you gotta check out Punk Rock Foodies. 4,000 members and growing. Donate to it, everyone.
Pee-balloon shots, that's what it was. Pee-balloon? Piss balloon.
No,
Piss balloon shots.
Piss balloon. Oh, hashtag piss balloon.
That's a special at the Vicious Pig.